Let's talk about our good old mates in China, Rex. Now, the suggestion from the federal government is that Labor's policy when it comes to China is simply to nitpick the position that exists currently between the federal government taking a strong stance against the ever-expansionist and terrible power that is China. Never forget slave labour. Never forget people put in jail because of the God that they believe in. Never forget about the depersoning of people who disagree with the central authority, and so on and so on and so on. Here's Ichwe Albo.
Australia needs more strategy and less politics when it comes to managing our differences with China. Foreign policy isn't a game. It's not a photo op.
And here is Josh Frydenberg ripping into Ichwe Albo, who, of course, has had both positions when it comes to China.
Well, I think Anthony Albanese is trying to make politics out of a very sensitive situation. I mean, the reality is we've taken decisions, whether that's around foreign investment, whether that's around foreign interference, whether that's around the Belt and Road policy, or whether that's around other national security issues in the telecommunications space. We've taken those decisions very much in the national interest, and we'll continue to take those decisions. We will draw a very clear and consistent line when it comes to these issues.
Rex, how do you feel about, let's start with Ichwe and his position here, that it's all about politics here, Rex?
Well, can I just go back to when Victoria signed the Belt and Road initiative? I put up a Senate inquiry to look at the relationship between Australia and China, and I did so 6 times after that and never got support from either Labor or the Liberal Party. In fact, it was only the crossbench and the whole of the crossbench that supported me in those endeavours. That was a call to have a comprehensive look at our relationship, where it was going well, where improvements were needed, what sort of things we needed to think about moving forward, rejected by both Labor and Liberal. But in relation to the current policies being put forward by Labor, I note that they are silent on some very difficult questions, such as how do we deal with the 14 demands where China has suggested that we change or in fact, sell out in some senses our sovereignty, our concerns about foreign interference. The list of 14 has not been addressed by the Labor Party. Their interaction with China goes all the way back to Gough Whitlam through to Hawke and Keating engaging in China. Then we saw Gillard with the Asian Century, her paper that came out. So Labor has always thought that they are able to basically lead in this particular area, but they are remaining silent on this list of 14 things that we need to kowtow to. And I think asking questions around that will draw out some of the flaws in their thinking.
What do you think about this one, Malcolm?
Well, I think there are 2 points I'd like to raise, Paul. The first is I want to commend Rex because he's exactly correct when he said that he's raised this motion looking for an inquiry into simply the relationship between China and Australia. That's all he wants. And we've backed him to the hilt every time. And every time Labor and Liberal get together with the Nationals and they vote it down. I don't know why they don't want to look at that. The second thing is that I think Australia needs to be very careful about our own productive capacity. The most important line of defence is our productive capacity, our ability to stand alone. The virus showed us that that's smashed when we have restrictions. What we're destroying our energy policy, our policy is destroying our energy, which is key to manufacturing. We've destroyed our property rights, we've destroyed our water, our infrastructure is not coping. China looks upon those kinds of things as a sellout to our sovereignty, a sellout to our productive capacity, a sellout to our citizens. We don't even stand up for the values. You know that. You're one of the main people in Australia who talks about Australian values and culture and lifestyle. They're all sold out.
Yep.
And so what we need to do is to come back and get back to basics in this country and show the Chinese that we have leadership here that will stand up for the people and not betray the people with weakness. So they're the 2 things I'd like to say. And until we get those 2 things correct, the Chinese are just going to treat us like dirt. No respect.